Oh, feel the music. What is up, everybody? It is Nuke the Props. Cushion with you today. Tyler will be stopping by here in just a minute. Looking forward to this. Boy, we got some bets. Keg is unloading bets left and right in the Discord today. I hit a bet yesterday when it dropped that I absolutely love, and the line is well up, but I still think it's a great one. Cedric Tillman, some of you probably haven't heard of him. I'm going to talk about him as well. And again, Tyler will stop by with his best bets. Before we get going here, like button would be wonderful. What up, everybody in the chat? Drop your best bets or player prop questions. Had a great week 8. Let's carry that over and have a great week 9. NukeTheHouse.com. We are open for business. Make sure you head over there right now. $59.99 a month. What a deal. $59.99 a month. If you want to really dive in, $599.99 for the year. It's the best value, though. You save $120. Some people want to dip their toe in the water for a week. I'm fine with that. $19.99. That's all it costs. If you're watching on X right now, come on over to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. Say hello to me because I'm excited. Very excited about this. I think we've got so much going down as far as the bets, which will up our handle in our own sports book apps. Mr. Tyler, how are you, friend? Beautiful house.
I'm good. How about you, Bolton? I wish this was my house, but at the rate we're winning money over here, this might be my house soon.
Yeah, you're doing good. Maddie asked me to put together a couple same game parlays just for videos out there. I mean, don't do same game parlays. Can I just say that? Like, if you're going to do it, keep it to a side and a total. And that's about it. That's the only way I'm doing same game parlays. You throwing any same game parlays out there? I feel like you dabble in that.
I mean, I threw one out there for the Monday night game. Like, you can get TJ Watt to have a sack and the Steelers win the game at -118. I'd rather bet that than lay the 6. I know they covered the 6 in the end, but we all knew he was going to grab Daniel Jones at some point that game. I don't hate doing those. I don't hate doing the inverse correlation ones like with Jameson Williams we were doing earlier in the year. I'm just not going to, I'm not going to go do a 5-leg same game parlay for +150.
But a bunch of jabronis out there are going to do it. Yeah. So I'm going to give them the picks. They can take that. I think we got better picks coming right now. Again, chat, what is up? Hop in, give your best bets, any questions, or you can just say hello to us. I'm going to dive in with my first bet here, Tyler. And I was on the air yesterday when this prop dropped. Let's talk about Connor Allen from 4 for 4 on our Bleacher Nation fantasy show. So I'm like, dude, Josh Downs is going to get a ton of work with Joe Flacco under center. He's like, yeah, I'll put my alerts on. Well, unfortunately, he didn't put his alerts on. I alerted him when Downs when this dropped, it was 54.5, and I got in there. Now, a lot of people around the industry are betting 62.5s. You can go to MGM and still get a 57.5 on Josh Downs. This thing went from 54.5 to 62.5 around the industry. You could still get a 57.5 at BetMGM. So I like to look at industry projections. Again, you don't base a prop bet off of projections, but I just like to see where the business is. 58.8, 60.3, 60.7, and his receptions are anywhere from 5.1 to 5.3. And this is just a baseline, and I looked at it and I said, gosh, all of these look really, really low because Flacco, he looks at Downs as his go-to guy, right? He's been targeted 27% of Flacco's pass attempts in 2024, Tyler. 27%. The Vikings have been awful against wide receivers. They've allowed a wide receiver to put up 100-plus receiving yards in each of their last 4 games. Downs could be that guy. I am climbing a little ladder with him. Ladder up to 100 yards. He's coming off his first 100-yard game last week against the Texans. And I'm looking at his longest reception. I just don't know if I can get there at 20.5. He's gone over that number in 3 or 4 games, but my best bet, I can't put 54.5 anymore. So I'll go MGM 57.5 to the over on Josh Downs, ladder him up to 100. Just sprinkle that because I'm not putting full units down. When Ked gives out a ladder, I'll put full units down, but I like the number. I love the number a lot, and I think he goes up. What do you think of Downs this week, buddy?
Yeah, I think Downs crushes. I love his props in this game. I love Flacco's props in this game. I would ladder Flacco up to 300. I mean, you've seen it's been tough to run on this Vikings defense, but everyone's thrown against them. So if they can't get the Flacco and he gets time, which their offensive line's pretty good, they should be able to give him some time. He's going to find Downs down the field. He's going to find Pittman. He's going to get the yards. He's going to clear 300. A lot of those are probably going to go to Downs. So love the Downs call. I'm going to be on Flacco also all the way up to 300 plus passing yards.
Oh, you're taking Flacco's number and Ladder and Flacco.
Yep.
It's a really good matchup on Sunday night. I think it's as simple as that. Like it shouldn't only be Downs, but Downs is my guy. Downs should be everybody's guy, Tyler.
For sure.
I mean, if you are throwing a same game parlay in there, you better go with Flacco and you better go with Downs. Then you can take the Colts and the points. Seems like a popular pick with a lot of sharp people, but figure that out yourself. I got to say, man, this is just this. If this doesn't hit, this will be a bad beat is all I can say. All right, give me a bet, buddy, because I got one more that I absolutely love, but I want to hear your first bet besides for Flacco.
Let's head up to Buffalo and let's just back James Cook against a team that they always beat up on. I mean, 64.5 on his rushing yards against Miami. Miami looks terrible. Their defense looks bad. They couldn't stop the Cardinals last week. I think Buffalo names their score here. They cover the 6.5. And once they get a lead, you've seen Buffalo. They don't want to throw the ball. They're just going to run it. So James Cook, 64.5. Give me the over there. And I'll ladder that one up to 100 too, because I think they get the lead quick. And I think he runs the ball a shit ton in this game. So let's see if we can get on 100 plus yards on him. You're getting 3-1 to him to cross 100. So don't hate that, but the 64.5 will be the bet for sure.
I think a lot of that depends on game script, obviously, but people are worried about Ray Davis. I mean, he's sitting there in the 5, 6, 7 touch range. That's about it. You know, he'll get 5 or 6 carries. I don't think he's going to eat into James Cook's workload. I think with Cook is down, Davis showed that he could be the workhorse back, but this is still James Cook's backfield.
For sure.
All right. I'm
Totally
going to get to my second one. Then I'm going to give one that Keg had. I'm going to give away a free one. Okay. The next one. No one's talking about him. Cedric Tillman. You heard of Cedric Tillman? I love Cedric Tillman. This guy is an absolute beast. Cleveland Browns wide receiver. His number's 47.5. It's gone up a couple yards since I bet it, but 47.5 is still a decent number. So the Browns, first of all, people don't realize this. They play with a pace, man. 4th highest number of plays this year with the Browns. And that only ticked up with Jamison Williams last week. So the biggest beneficiary of the Amari Cooper trade to Buffalo has been Cedric Tillman. Last 2 weeks, Cedric Tillman has gone nuts. Before the trade in 6 games, okay? He had all of 5 targets with Deshaun Watson. He had all of 3 catches for 9 yards. What has he done the last 2 weeks without Cooper? And then last week with Winston in there. Last 2 games, 21 targets, 15 catches, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So what does this mean? This means that I think this guy, him and Njoku, are 1 and 1A for Jameis Winston this week. 53 yards after the catch over these last 2 weeks with 3 broken tackles. His ADOT is 14 yards. I mean, that's ridiculous. The catch rate, 10 out of 10 there, or 4 out of 4, I should say, on deep balls. At 6'3", people compare this guy physically, not exactly physically to Mike Evans. Evans is 6'5", Tillman 6'3". If you go and look at this kid, he is gigantic. He is a wide receiver in a tight end's body. He's huge. 6'3", 213, and a 4'5", 440. Evans is 6'5", 230, 4'5'3". I mean, there's besides for a couple inches and a couple pounds, these two guys are very, very similar. So again, I'm not saying Tillman is Mike Evans, but 47.5, it's just too low for me. Cedric Tillman to the over.
Yeah, I totally agree there. I mean, he could easily get that 1 catch. I know the Chargers defense has been really good. Even if Winston has a bad game, they're going to get stats in garbage time. Like, they're going to be able to move the ball at some point in this game. 40 yards is way too low for what could be his wide receiver 1. Don't trust Judy and don't trust the other guys there. So I think Tillman is their guy right behind Njoku.
Yeah, they'll probably try and run the ball with Chubb. He's back.
Yeah.
He still doesn't look like the same guy, but I'm with you on Judy. I saw the guy out here in Denver. He's a bust. You know, a couple games a year he'll show up, but that passing offense to me is really going to be condensed with Tillman and Njoku atop the tree. And then I think Judy's back there and a couple other guys, but for the most part, Tillman just.
You know who reminds me of Judy somewhat when it comes to like how they came out of college, what they were labeled to be? Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison Jr. or Marvin Harrison's
Junior? Junior.
I don't. You can't make that. You can't make that.
It's just the fact that both were labeled like generational route runners, and they're going to come in the league and be able to just route teams up, and that's pretty much all the guy was described as, and then they get here and they don't really do much.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Harrison, buddy. Give Harrison 2
I'll give
years.
him some time, but that's the trajectory he's looking like he's going for
That's
me.
how
He's
you're
right down the
feeling,
Judy
guy.
trail.
All right, what's the next bet, Tyler?
Next bet, we're going to go to Dallas in the Atlanta game inside that dome. Atlanta can't get pressure on anyone. Like, I think I could stand back there in the pocket and have time to throw the football with how they blitz the quarterback. They have nobody that can get pressure on them. Dak's going to stand back there. It's going to be a completely different game from last week against San Fran, where they were sending heat after him. He was having to get rid of the ball fast, and he made some mistakes. 265 on his yards. I think he crushes that in this game, Holden. I think he stands back there and just shreds this defense. I think they beat Atlanta, and I think he throws for 300 and gets CD involved big time in this one. So expect CD to have another big game, but give me that Dak over 265.
Well, I mean, he just has to throw, dude. What's his passing attempts? They just cannot run the ball. There's no running game. Huh?
37.5.
Oh, that's a lot, though. 37.5 is a lot. You know, can I see him getting a 40? Absolutely. But that thing had to. Let me go look what that was at, because that thing had to be bet
even
up.
Money, so that had to be bet up.
I bet you that thing dropped to 33, 34.5. But damn, I got to pass this thing. Anything else that you like from that game?
I mean, what is CD Lamb's exact yards right now? They're at 85.5. I mean, AJ Terrell's not going to be able to cover them. They're inside that dome. I really love laddering him up to 100 and just going that route. You're getting plus 150 on 100 yards on him. You've seen it last year after the bye week for Dallas. They just got CD Lamb really involved. They started pelting him with the ball. First week out of the bye for Dallas here against San Fran last week. What was CD getting? Pelted with the ball. I think you see that again here. So love his props, love Dak's props.
Yeah. And you know what? It opened at 36.5. So it really didn't move that much. They're just like everybody. They see what everybody else sees. They can't run. Dak has to throw. If they fall behind, forget it. This guy should throw 45 times.
Oh, yeah.
But Dallas is just a complete disaster. Maybe they show up. They've got a little bit of a break coming into this game, but they've got so many problems. So I'm going to give away a keg bet that he just put out there for members. I'll throw that out there in a minute. Are there any more player props that you want to throw out before I give Keg's prop? And then we're going to get into Bleacher Nation fantasy here for a minute, our partner. So
yeah, just well, it's one player, two picks. AJ Brown over 79.5 on his yards and his anytime touchdown here against Jacksonville. Jacksonville loves to run cover one, which is man-to-man scheme. AJ Brown is averaging, I think, the highest yards when it comes to wide receivers versus cover one. He's a big wide receiver. You're not going to be able to man-to-man him. If you're going to put one guy over the top, if he beats that guy, you're screwed. So I think you see a big play out of AJ Brown in this game, and he scores a touchdown off of it. So love his touchdown, love his yards.
Yeah, that number's bumping up too, because it was sitting there at 78.5, and now we're up to what, 80.5 on AJ Brown?
I see 79.5.
Yeah, and so I see you know what? I see a 79 at FanDuel. They dropped that late, and that's up from 77.5. That changed in 24 minutes. That line went from 77.5 to 79.5 over.
You think that had to do with Goddard getting ruled out, though?
I mean, he wasn't going to play. Like, nobody didn't. The books kind of know that. I guess they just waited till it was official.
I agree. They knew, but at the same time, like I think once the news is fully out, they kind of click that extra button on their little algorithm back there.
I got something interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles have not scored in the first quarter this year. How is that possible?
It's like they're using the first quarter to feel out games. It's like the weirdest thing.
It's fascinating to me. And they got the Jag. That could change this week. I mean, again, AJ Brown is set up for a nice game, and I like it. I'm going to give you another big name. And I think we've seen him laddered one time, but Keg's play that I bet a whole bunch of them, actually. I bet every single one of them. But this guy, Justin Jefferson to get 100, 110, 120. You can bet his number too. But he's laddering Justin Jefferson this week. And I think we got a lot from that Sunday Night Football game. Again, Flacco, Downs, Jefferson, Hawkinson's back. I'm trying, and I'm reading left and right. I'm trying to figure out how Hawkinson's going to fit into this offense. Does he just pick it up like he did last year? I mean, this dude, he had a pretty massive injury. So does he come back and immediately demand targets? Does that help Justin Jefferson out? I don't know. All I know is that Darnold finally has his three guys out there: Hawkinson, Jefferson, Addison.
Might have his 3 guys, but he lost his main guy that was protecting him in Christian Darisaw. And I think that could be a very, very, very big loss that people aren't talking about. He's one of the best left tackles in the game. I mean, once you've seen him go out last Thursday night, Darnold didn't look like the same quarterback. Like, I love the Justin Jefferson call, best wide receiver in the game. If Darnold gets time, he's going to crush those yards. I'm not 100% sure Darnold's going to get the time in this game.
Yeah,
I know it's the Colts, but they're getting Buckner back. They might be able to get some pressure on Darnold, and he turns into a pumpkin when there's pressure there.
Yeah, again, we're talking about the best wide receiver in the game, and it's not like he's going to be under pressure every single throw.
Very true, yeah.
And the other thing is, what about some quick hits to Jefferson, too? The guy's a yak monster.
But they could definitely go that route. If he's getting pressure on him, just go short routes.
Yeah, so Jefferson, he's laddering. That's the play there. Again, I like Downs over. I like Tillman over. You like Flacco over. You like a whole bunch of stuff this week. Again, I have completely changed the way I bet since I'm working with Keg every day. I used to bet unders like a mofo. I love unders, but you can't ladder unders, can you? I mean, you can, but it's just, I think it's a lot riskier. So if it's just straight numbers, I do like under still. But if I'm talking about receipt, you better believe I'm going to be laddering Tillman and Downs at this point. Hey, I don't know if you've seen Bleacher Nation Fantasy. They're our buddies. This was from yesterday, though. This is their spiel. What you can do is kind of go head-to-head on different player props. Last night, if you had Rodgers and Adams, you beat Stroud and Schultz. The code is sweat-free. I'm going to put the link back in the NFL Bets chat. So all you got to do is go to your phone, click on that, download the link, sign up. You get up to $250 in bonus bets back if your first bet loses. So that's the first thing. Check this out. J.K. Dobbins versus Chuba Hubbard. You didn't know we were doing this, so I'm just throwing it out there. So Dobbins this week, again, they got Cleveland. He's explosive. What the hell are the Panthers doing, though?
The Panthers are they're setting themselves up to be a failure for the next 20 years. So
they are a mess, man. They are.
Give me pick team A right here, Holden. I would take J.K. Dobbins on this.
Okay, but I just talked to Connor and he goes, "Give me the 11 yards of Chuba Hubbard," and I'm like, "What? You're taking the 11 yards with Chuba Hubbard in this economy in that offense?" He's like, "Yeah."
I understand it. It's a bad game. Like maybe the Saints don't pull away and Carolina's able to keep it somewhat close. I'm just going to trust that J.K. Dobbins breaks one of those big runs and ends up with like 90 yards in this game because I don't think Chuba Hubbard gets to 70.
Yeah, I'm not going to put money on this one is all I'll say. You know, he's getting like 50, let's see here, 52, 56 yards. 56 yards last week in a blowout loss to the Broncos. But he's getting 11 yards, so maybe that bumps him up into the 60s. Hey, I'm just telling you what Connor likes. And then the other one here, I think this is interesting. Passing yards, Jared Goff versus Matthew Stafford. Stafford's coming off his best game of the year, 279 yards. We know Jared Goff struggles outdoors. I think there's going to be a lot of running from the Lions in this game. There's no question that Goff is not the same quarterback outdoors. We've seen this. Go look at the numbers, up and down. Goff plus 12 yards, not doing it. I think Stafford takes care of business against Seattle. Here's another 275-yard game for Stafford. I think Puka's going to play. Cooper Kupp is in. I would wait just to see the status on Puka Nacua. But for me, Tyler, this is the way I'd go. I'd go with Stafford, 100%.
Yeah, 100% clicking Stafford. I mean, I could see some people going and clicking Goff because it's Detroit. They've had the better offense. But, and you're getting the yards with it. Nah, he's outdoors. He's not going to do that well this week. I think Green Bay's still alive to win that game. So I'm not betting on Goff. I would definitely take Matthew Stafford in that one. And he could shred Seattle's defense.
I'm with you. Here we go. Maddie's in the chat. New Orleans, second worst yards per carry. I'm on Chuba. I mean, again, I think he's going to get his opportunities. That the more you watch Bryce Young, the more you just say, how is this guy not going to be a bust? Like Anthony Richardson to me is a better prospect than Bryce Young.
I mean, I'm going to quit throwing Bryce Young under the bus just because the more and more that they trade away from this team, I mean, what do you want him to do?
Yeah, but he had Deontay Johnson. He did. What do you have? Thielen for like, I don't even know if Thielen.
He had Thielen for like 36 plays.
Yeah, they don't have a lot there, but I think we've seen enough of Bryce Young. Inaccurate, short, not very decisive.
Yeah.
I mean, Richardson, I'm glad that they benched him because we love Joe Flacco.
Now, if of those two guys, if both were dropped in a new team, set up with like a good coach that built a system around them, who's more likely to succeed in your eyes, Richardson? Because I think it'd be Bryce Young.
I don't know, man.
At least we've seen from Bryce Young in college, like we know he could throw a good ball and like put it in places. Like if you build an offensive line, you give him time and you build it almost like a Drew Brees offense to where the linemen aren't towering over him. Maybe he does become a better quarterback. The more I watch Richardson play, I think he should just start Flacco at quarterback and put Richardson behind him.
As a running back. Now, you could do a whole bunch of neat stuff like lateral it to him and let him throw it 70 yards. The guy could throw it 70 yards downfield. Yeah. But listen, there's nobody happier than Nuke the House that Joe Flacco's back at quarterback because this puts Downs in play, Pittman in play, especially Downs for me. And let's talk about our best bets one more time. Tyler, lay him out there for us, buddy.
Yeah, best bet for me, give me James Cook's rushing yards in this one. I think he crushes. I think you could ladder him up to 100 against this Miami defense. And then my other best bet, give me A.J. Brown to score a touchdown against this Jags team. You'll see him streaking down the sideline at some point on red zone by himself with the football, and they'll be celebrating in the end zone with Philly. So those would be my two.
Good to see Card Addict in the chat, always here. One of our newer subscribers that is just, I mean, he'll give a testimonial. He's won so much money with us. So here on the way out, and I'll give you my best bets too. Like button would be great. We'd love the like button thing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. And if you want to get in and you want all the plays for Sunday, Keg is firing, man. And our live shows have been spectacular. Besides, last night we got our asses kicked. There was just, this happens. We're not going to get every show where we just murder it, but fully confident that Keg's going to bounce back. Give us the winners. Our premium shows, 1 o'clock slate, 4 o'clock slate. They'll be betting NASCAR too, but our behind the paywall shows at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, tons of live betting. Got to be a member. And even Monday night, we're going to go first half free, second half behind the paywall. And half times when we do a whole bunch of bets, the witching hour, we find a lot. So you're going to want to be there for the second half as well. Again, nukethehouse.com. Head on over there, $59.99 a month. You're surprised that AJB was contained last week. I mean, it's going to happen, Tim.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the week Jalen Hurts is like, hey, you know what? We're going to go back to A.J. Brown. I like the A.J. Brown call too. And other people at Nuke like the A.J. Brown call. So that's good. My two bets, you can still find a 57.5 on Josh Downs. I'm going to ladder him up. I don't know about 100, but definitely through 80. And then Cedric Tillman, 47.5 yards to the over. I'll probably ladder him a little bit too. I just have not figured out exactly how many lines I want to go to. And you know what? Matty threw something in here, and this is a correlated parlay, but he's like Flacco 275, Downs 80 plus 450. I think Matty hit a 12-1 last night too. He's the parlay guy. I'm not the parlay guy. He's the parlay guy. He's like, Holden, we got to have these YouTube short parlays. People go nuts for him. Then I did a little Google trend search, type in same game parlay, off the charts. That's all people are looking for. Good job by the books.
Everybody wants to bet $10 and win thousands of dollars, Holden.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to bet 100 and win 100.
After you lose 20 of those bets in a row, all of a sudden you're down and it's tough to hit them. It really is tough to hit them. But again,
those people
Patty's
don't
good
care.
at it.
They just need one, Holden. They get one. They don't care about how many they lose.
I know. But 8-10 leg parlays. Come on, man. That's a lot. It's a little better than a lottery ticket, but it's pretty close to a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Like button on the way out. Tyler, awesome. Thank you so much for hopping on with me, buddy. I always appreciate that. Let's go nuke these props. Let's go nuke the house.